I want to ask now our special guest, Rohan Pallewatta, to take the floor and address the congregation.
The corridors are asleep, lie shadows dark and deep. My mind as it lives in confusion. I don't know what is real, I can't touch what I feel, and I hide behind the shield of my illusion. So I continue to pretend that my life will never end, and flowers never bend with the rainfall. Thank you. Back in the year 2016, I had the occasion to address the United Nations at their headquarters, not in Geneva, but in New York. It was a 4-day program on sustainable development goals, where I had to deliver my speech on the 3rd day. As you know, the only property in the US that does not belong to US is the United Nations premises. Because as you know, it is governed by the Geneva Convention. So the moment you enter the UN premises in US, the US law does not apply. But for that very reason, the security was very stringent. And as the UN, I wanted to start my speech with a song. In fact, with the same song by Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel. But on the very first day, having come to know that the security was stringent, I sought permission to take my guitar to the main chamber of the UN. But the secretary said, no, you cannot take a musical instrument to the main chamber of the UN. And myself being an attorney at law, I knew and I know that if you make a request in writing, and if the authorities decide to decline, they have to do it in writing. So on the second day, I took a written request and handed over to the authorities. But they said, we will look into the matter, because there was no precedence in a person taking a musical instrument to the main chamber of the UN. When there is no precedence, people are reluctant to act. It was no different in USA. They were reluctant to act. But on the 3rd day, where I had to deliver my speech, I received a call in my hotel room, and I was told that I have been permitted to take my guitar to the chamber. And I started with a song, of course with a purpose, because I saw during the sessions at the UN, most of the people in the audience are not interested in what you speak, not interested in the speaker's content. They're engrossed in their digital devices under the table, or wearing their headphones and pretending to listen to you. So by deploying to start with the song, I of course had the attention of the House. But that is not the point. At the end of the day, I was inquisitive to know the process as to how the permission was granted. And then I was shown the letter that I submitted in writing that was endorsed by no less a person than Ban Ki-moon, the Secretary General at that time himself. And he has written, I shall never ever allow a musical instrument in the main chamber of the UN. But if a speaker uses a musical instrument to enhance the expressions of his speech, I shall allow, and therefore I allow. So the point that I'm trying to inculcate in all you graduates today is that what is it in me that did not let me take that no for an answer on the first day? What is in me that made me persist with what I wanted to do? I trust this is what is called passion. And if you graduates are not passionate about what you do, if your motivation is your remuneration at the end of the month, your package that follows at the end of the month, that will not be good enough for you to get into the next level of your life. So whatever you do, you will have to be very passionate in what you do. I am into manufacturing back in Sri Lanka. I manufacture the impact sensor for the automobile airbag. And all the big brands in the world, Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishi, Aston Martin, Volkswagen, Opel, General Motors, Ford, Chrysler. All these vehicles are using the impact sensor for the airbag that I manufacture back there in Sri Lanka. And the uniqueness of what I do is its quality requirement, which is called 1 ppm quality. 1 part per million is the defect tolerance rate. And as you know, that is the highest level of quality anywhere in the world. There is no quality beyond that. So when I embarked on this, I was told by many that it would be impossible to achieve that level of quality in a country like Sri Lanka, taking into consideration the work ethic of my own country. But then I did not take any of those opinions. I believed that looking at all the great monuments that Sri Lanka has, I believed that this DNA must be somewhere in our people. I trusted that, provided the right leadership, that I can rekindle this DNA. And I was right, and here I am that I'm standing before you. And today, you have acquired some knowledge, and my invitation to you, in order to have that passion and succeed in life, you have to get into the next stage of wisdom. I do not have the time, the luxury of going into detail as to the difference between knowledge and wisdom. But I will tell you 2 things. Indira Nehru became Indira Gandhi when she got married to Feroz Gandhi. In her autobiography, she writes, Feroz is the most unfaithful husband a woman could ever have. His unfaithfulness is so severe, he entertained other women in front of my very eyes, even when I was carrying his child. That is the greatest insult that a woman could be inflicted upon by a man. But in a subsequent chapter, she writes, when I was returning from a political meeting in Chandigarh, I received the news that Feroz is no more, because Feroz did not live beyond 48 years to see the light of day. Then she writes, the moment I received the news that Feroz is no more, I was scattered into pieces, and I couldn't gather those pieces for the rest of my life. 2 contradictory statements in the same autobiography. How would you reconcile? How would you try to understand this? No amount of knowledge will make you understand this. It is the wisdom that will make you realize what this is. So, especially even in developing a business like what I have done, last year we recorded a turnover of $80 million. And in order to have that kind of mental grasp of such business idea, it is not just knowledge. You should get into the next level of wisdom. And the motivation should come from within you. It is not the external pressure that is exerted on you that is going to bring the best in you. It is the internal pressure that you exert on you that is going to bring the best in you. The best metaphor is an egg. When an egg is pressurized from the outside and it breaks, life ends. But when an egg is pressurized from the inside and it breaks, life begins. And also remember, your path to success will never be a straight line. There will always be ups and downs. The best metaphor is the ECG. Ups and downs indicates that you are very much alive. A straight line indicates that you are no more. Thank you very much for inviting me today.